Hi, intrepid viewers. Welcome any new viewers. Well, I've put off reading on the shutdown. Can't avoid it any longer. It's going on and on. So, what is going to happen with the shutdown? My thoughts are, at the moment, it looks bad for Trump. The longer it goes on, the worse it looks for Trump. But I'm a bit worried, viewers. I have to share my concerns. That if the Democrats are seen to be giving him nothing, like just refusing any money for the wall, the public opinion might turn. It starts to look as if, they're all the same. No one's interested in a compromise. I don't think it's that marvellous for the Democrats to give him nothing. Personally, I think they could go back to deal one, offer him huge amounts of money for the wall in exchange for DACA. I think they offered originally $25 billion or something in exchange for DACA. 70% of Americans want the Dreamers to stay. That could work. Or they could twin $5 billion for the wall, which he won't spend. He's got $1.5 billion there that he hasn't spent, and he won't be there long enough for a real wall to be built. Pretend. Put the money notionally in there and insist that maybe $1 or $2 billion are used to improve medical facilities and actual conditions for people who are at the border. But malheureusement, I don't rule the world, viewers, as you know, so we'll see what they're actually going to do. Those were my thoughts, but look, hey, who knows what's going to happen with the shutdown. So I'm going to do a general one on the shutdown and then one on what it means from the Dem perspective, then from the Republican perspective. So let's have a general look first, shall we? Okay. The shutdown. Let's see. Yeah, it is emotional. All right. At the center of this, first off, you have the Ace of Cups, viewers. This is emotional stuff. It's an emotional decision. So it's far from being a practical thing. We all know it's not really about the wall. It's about the whipping up of the base emotionally. It's all this crap surrounding the conversation. Okay, so this is the dove of peace, should be the dove of peace. Unfortunately, as so often, the mad bird diving into the chalice, more emotions. I would also think it's not going to resolve quickly. I'm a bit worried about that, and I feel for federal workers. Did you see there's one group of federal workers who are actually suing the government over the shutdown? We'll see what happens with that. Okay, so establishing the tone of the shutdown conversation, it's very emotional and it's very central to this. Behind this, we have the card of the harvest. So, is it Trump or is it the Dems? Trump's never held a spade in his life. So it might be, in general, the Dems thinking, have we done enough to back him into a corner over this so he'll have to capitulate? It could be that. It could also be the Republicans saying, have we done enough to have an opinion on this? We probably haven't, but we can't rein him in. So there's a concern about, has enough been done? Well, the answer to that, I can help them out all the way from Australia. No, none of you have done enough. It's still going on. You haven't done enough. It's called governing, and you haven't done it. Okay. Moving back here, what's underneath the reading? the Two of Wands, business and commerce, etc., etc. In the context of a reading about the shutdown, underneath this represents returning to governing, returning to trade and commerce. It's underneath. This is what people should be looking at. That's what should be informing them, is this particular conversation. On top, you have the Knight of Cups. There's an opportunity to be had. We certainly haven't heard it via the media, so hopefully someone's talking behind the scenes. It's like this is a conciliatory offer. It's cups reflecting the cups here or mirroring the cups. Knights are an offer. This is the nice knight in that way, trying to make peace. So this is not Trump. This is not Pelosi. This represents others behind the scenes who are trying to get some sort of deal up. The future of the shutdown doesn't look marvellous. Wins and losses. This is the character who wins at any price. Okay, that's both Trump, but also you could say the hardliners, the Ann Coulters, the Rush Limbaughs, those who just want to win at any price. They don't care. They take the swords off those they vanquish. But if you look carefully, viewers, these are the people who have been on side with this figure who are walking away. Have you noticed that MSNBC has beat Fox in the ratings for the first time in 18 years or something like that? People are walking away from the hardliners. Okay. Well, that sort of paints the basic picture. Not seeing it going to be sorted by the weekend, you'd have to say, viewers. It's going to go on. So I hope someone's prioritising this. I hope someone's working at it. All right. From the Dem point of view, what's happening with the shutdown from the Democrats' perspective? What are they thinking? How are the Democrats seeing this? Of course, there's not one single opinion with any of this. It's not like all Democrats stand united, but let's just see, generally, what's this doing for the Democrats? Have a look. I tell you what I think here. When we get to this card, this is the key card, the outcome card. But let's go back. What is the central card? Temperance, balance, harmony. We're here to make a deal. Well, I hope so. I certainly hope so. So I'd like to see a bit more temperance out there. I think they've got to play this to the public a bit more cleverly. If you're going to be hardline, explain why. But I think you've got to offer something. Okay. Behind this, the past, nostalgia, cups. This is how we've done it in the past. That's what I'm afraid of. I don't think they're being innovative. They're relying on the past, is how I see this card. They could also be looking at the past. You hang on long enough with Trump and he moves on to the next shiny thing, which could be a war with North Korea or South Korea or some stupid thing to take everyone's mind off it. They could be thinking that way of the past in the sense with Trump. But my intuitive feel is it's more this sort of tough stance here that they've never supported the war. And that's fair enough. It's good to have convictions. It's really good to have convictions. But with this guy, Caligula, you've got to bring the people with you. That's what I think they're not quite doing. They've got to bring the people with them. Okay. Underneath this for the Dems, the Three of Wands. Remember we just had the Two of Wands, kind of similar. This is also trade and commerce. But it's often interpreted, the shorthand for tarot readers for the Three of Wands is waiting for your ship to come in. So this would indicate to me they're going to wait him out and play hardball. How do they do that? They keep the balls in the air, juggling. There's a degree of manipulation to this card, but it's basically juggling. They can play we're the new kids on the block for a while. They will have a honeymoon period for a while. There is a lot of expectation that since they got in such big numbers that they can really do something. It's a bigger picture with Trump. I hope they know what they're doing with the juggler. Now, viewers, and you might be able to help me out with your opinions on this, the hostage card. So, do they feel that they've got Donald Trump hostage over this because the wall is such a stupid idea? He's now comparing it to the wall around the Vatican. I mean, the wall around the Vatican, I think, was built in the Middle Ages. I mean, that's how he thinks. Are they thinking they've got him hostage, they just hold the line and eventually he'll cave? If so, it's not the best strategy they've ever come up with. People could turn against them. They want to see people working together and moving forward. They don't just want to see another lot of people being stubborn. But I'm not a Democratic Party strategist. The other interpretation is, are they held hostage to this hard line interpretation? Are the Dems hostage over going in so hard and in such a hold the line way? Are they being hostage over this? Might just do a clarifier on the hostage card. Who's being held hostage? Who's being held hostage? Oh, the King of Pentacles. Trump. Okay, all right. The greedy king. He has put all his eggs in one basket. He's put all his political capital that he has left, the wall, into the same thing. So, in turn, it looks like the Democrats are going to hold him to that and hope he caves. Okay. That's how they see it. All right. So, the GOP, and given that Trump's never been a Republican and isn't a team player and doesn't think like any particular political animal, I'm looking at the GOP separately from Trump. This, I think, is what's going to matter in a way. How do the GOP feel and react to this impasse? The shutdown is on their watch. Do they blame Trump? Do they blame the Dems? What are they going to do? The GOP and the shutdown. Oh, you've got to laugh. You've got to laugh. Oh, this is very, very revealing, I think, viewers. Now, in the centre, the burden, the card of the burden. It is literally pushing the doo-doo uphill. It's really trying to keep it all together, literally. See how the person's trying to keep all those wands together. It's a 10. It's the end of a cycle. They're getting really sick of having to explain to the electorate why they are still supporting Caligula, right? It's getting harder and harder. They're not happy, nor should they be. Some of them are thinking of walking away. Walking away. In other words, this issue over the shutdown will actually cause some of them. I don't know if you saw 3 Republican lawmakers have actually left the Republican Party and gone to the Democrats. This is happening. I think they were North Carolina or something. Get back to me if you know the fine print. 3 of them in the last week or so have walked away from being lifelong Republicans. So this is not popular. The Mad King is really forcing people to rethink their position. There is a card of celebration, which is kind of curious. I think this 3, it could be, it's 3 women celebrating traditionally. It could be, I'm thinking, those 3 women who have walked away from the Republican Party. But also, if we don't look at it literally in terms of gender, but we do look at the number, I think there's a proportion of Republicans who feel they can make a deal that Trump will go with. 3 of them. Will it be the traditional mob, which is Mitch McConnell, etc., although they seem to be pulling away? It's kind of funny. I'll come back to a clarifier on that. Okay, what's on top of the Republicans' heads? They are being judged for the shutdown. Hello? The men and women and children of America going, we've woken up, we're really sick of this. Judgment calls. They are being judged. They need leadership. They need a King of Wands to help them through this. They need someone other than Trump, because Trump is so not the King of Wands, who's a wise and just king, so it's not him. They need someone to steady the ship and to come up with a plan to do a compromise with the Dems. It is obvious, is it not, viewers? Trump's not going to come up with a solution to this. He can't, because he can't compromise. He doesn't understand the word. And he's just going into that, well, I'm just not moving. He was really stung when Ann Coulter and the others really held his feet to the fire. He really couldn't handle it. Now, the problem with that, normally he just changes his opinion 20 minutes later. But he felt that. He felt that in his gut. It was a visceral sort of reaction. So he's going to find it really hard. So it's up to the Republicans, basically, the Republican lawmakers, to come up with something. And my advice to the Dems is please look as if you're doing something towards a compromise for the sake of 800,000 workers in the States. Stick by your principles, but be prepared to compromise a bit. If you don't, it will not be good. Auntie Lena's telling you guys, Dems, you don't want to be known as belligerent and hardline as the trumpet. You really don't. Okay. Also, of course, Mitt Romney throwing his hat into the ring. You know, dear little wholesome Mormon, but it's the first shot across the bow to Trump that he's not the only thing going on in 2020. And I think there's going to be many others step forward. There is no way they are going to run with him ever again, be assured. I think the Dems are going to have a massive field as well. So hold on to your hats, buckle up, get your chocolates in. We're off and running for 2019. Bye now.